Plein air painting with what to bring and what not to lap, but it is nice to have goals in different directions so I can angle the pochade box to. It has a quick release mount that I attach to my pochade box. This is the pochade box from ShrubmArt. I think that's how you pronounce it. It is a shop on Etsy based out of Ukraine, and they make a really great pochade box. Then I remove the rubber bands that I put on it to keep it closed. My only real big complaint with this pochade box is that it doesn't have a latch to really make sure that lid is super secure, but the rubber bands work fantastic, so it's not a big deal. Once I take the rubber bands off, I lift up the lid and I tighten it down so that I can use that as my easel. Then I remove the piece of paper that I put on top of my pastels. This just helps keep my pochade box clean, the work area on the lid clean, and it helps keep my pastels a little bit more safe. And then I am pretty much ready to paint. The only thing I need is my sketchbook. This is a sketchbook that I made out of pastel matte paper, and I like to put a glassine sheet in between each paper so all of my pastel paintings are nice and safe. And the nice thing with this pochade box is that it has a lip to rest that sketchbook on, and I am ready to paint. And I honestly would have started painting because it was such a beautiful day, except for I needed to go take my kids to the dentist. So I quickly packed it back up. And that is one of the things I like about this setup, is that it's easy to set up and it's easy to take down. And with it being so easy to just get painting, it makes it so you're more likely to grab it. If you have a really complex setup, you're not as likely to just grab it and go. The other nice thing about this setup is those rubber bands hold my sketchbook nice and tight in my bag. And then I just pack up my tripod, toss it in the bag, and it's ready to go for the next painting adventure. Follow along as I do some plein air painting in my mom's backyard. My mom is an avid gardener and has a really, really gorgeous yard. So why did I choose this spot? Probably one of the least remarkable spots in her entire yard. Well, it was in shade and it was going to stay in shade for a little while. So it gave me a little bit more working time. It's been a hot summer and I couldn't be picky. So I decided to make the most of it and accentuate the scene I was seeing. So I added an arch above the gate. I got rid of the barn, added some trees in the background, and had their branches kind of mimic that shape of the arch. So we kind of had a repeating pattern or a repeating shape within the composition, and just tried to go with it and take some creative liberties. And overall, I'm really happy with how this piece turned out. Now, the main thing I struggled with was that I got in a hurry and I didn't pay attention to the values of what I was looking at, and so I didn't get my darks dark enough in the underpainting and early stages of this piece. And that meant that I had to go back and forth quite a bit later on to try and get my darks dark enough so that I could get enough contrast to have those highlights stand out. As I've been using this setup, I've become really attuned to the colors that are in it and what colors I need to swap out and add to the setup to make it more functional for plein air painting. Now, the colors you might use when you're plein air painting really depends on the environment and the time of year you're painting in. You're going to need very different colors in the winter versus peak summer. But I realized that I need to get some more neutrals and earth tones in this. Also, like my greens, I need some more gray greens and some more natural looking blue greens and more natural looking like yellow greens, and not have quite as many be high chroma colors. I love high chroma colors. I love jewel tones and vibrant colors with every being of my heart, but they don't stand out unless you have more neutral tones around them. So I need to tweak and adjust the colors that I have in this setup to really optimize it for plein air painting. Overall, I'm happy with how this piece turned out and I can't wait to paint more.